Welcome back to Tarot by the Bay. I'm David. All right. Unintended consequences. That's going to be the theme of this reading. All right. I just posted something up on the community page, and heck, I'm not going to read on it. Sheldon Whitehouse just posted something up on Twitter. No government official should be above the law. The American people deserve a comprehensive investigation into potential violations of ethics and tax laws by Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas. Senator Ron Wyden and I sent a letter to the AG Garland making the case. It is, by the way, it's July 8th as I record this at about 10:30 in the morning Pacific time. I am going to Canada to visit friends with my son. We're leaving tomorrow and we'll be gone until the 15th. So any content that I might try and record some content during the day today to put up interspersed throughout the week. Last time I visited Canada, my friends get up really late. They're really slow starters, so I might be recording up there as well. I'll have my laptop with me. No guarantees though, but we'll see what happens. Now, with regards to this story, in a previous throw that I did just a few episodes ago here, regarding the Mar-a-Lago documents case in Jack Smith, I asked what would happen if, playing the tape through, what would happen? Would Jack Smith be removed by Judge Cannon? And there was a distinct possibility that that would happen. Wow. The Supreme Court, in their decision to make presidents kings, Clarence Thomas felt the need to add a little extra flavor to it by basically telling Judge Cannon that you need to fire Jack Smith because I don't think special counsels are appropriate. And she may fire him or say, she can't fire him, but she can say she could dismiss the case, which would again stall it in courts and stuff like that. Well, Jack Smith, I was listening to, I believe it was Glenn Kirshner. Jack Smith could hand the case off to another attorney, and then they'll just pick up and go with it from there. It was, whether it was Hawk or Glenn Kirshner or Bo, it was one of the sources I never really listened to. Okay, so it's possible he can hand it off, and then they just pick up right where he left off. And, nothing ventured, nothing gained, nothing lost there. But that would free him up. And now Sheldon Whitehouse puts this out there? Oh, the timing. Now, it does require Attorney General Garland to agree to appoint a special counsel. But the tastiness of the irony of this. Oh, my God. Oh, so you say that special counsels aren't legal. Huh. Well, we're going to appoint a special counsel to go over your illegal financial behaviors as a Supreme Court justice. I mean, So let's look at the energy around this announcement by Sheldon Whitehouse, who's just a boss. And then let's look at Merrick Garland to see if he's going to appoint a special counsel, and let's see if our favorite assassin gets put in charge of that. Because wouldn't that just be the most amazing thing ever? Not that Jack Smith needs motivation, but can you imagine? He would do it anyways because it's worth doing. But it just there's just extra on this one. Oh, extra spicy. All right. So, entertainment purposes only. I'm already entertained. Well, hopefully the reading will carry through to maintain my entertainment. But let's look at the energy around Sheldon Whitehouse's and Ron Wyden's letter to Attorney General Garland saying, hey, appoint a special counsel to investigate Clarence Thomas for his shenanigans. Foundation of the reading is the Hanged Man. Let's take a look at this because his behavior and his actions look and smell corrupt. Among them was the they did discuss in this article. Let me just get you in here. The letter outlines several potential issues that a special counsel should examine, including whether Justice Thomas violated the federal ethics and tax laws by failing to disclose more than $267,000 in forgiven debt from a loan that was once used to purchase a luxury motor coach. You know, if you'd just taken John Oliver up on his offer, he'd have given you a newer coach and a stipend for the rest of your life. Okay, anyways, along with many instances of gifts that Thomas did not previously disclose, including sports tickets, tuition for family, home renovations, and more. The senators in their letter, here's another quote from the letter here. No government official should be above the law. Supreme Court justices are properly expected to obey laws designed to prevent conflicts of interest and the appearance of impropriety. Not even if it's even if it is improper, but the appearance of impropriety. And to comply with the federal tax code. We therefore request that you appoint a special counsel authorized to investigate potential criminal violations by Justice Thomas under the disclosure, false statement, and tax laws. Pursue leads of related criminal violations by donors. Oh, because, those donors, I'm sure they lead a squeaky clean life. Lenders and intermediate corporate entities, shell companies, and determine whether any such loans and gifts were provided pursuant to a coordinated enterprise or plan. Holy crap! They're going after... This is full-on conspiracy stuff here. This is the stuff that's going to take down Harlan Crow, the Heritage Foundation, the Federalist Society. Well, maybe I'm being a bit hyperbolic there. Maybe I won't take them all down. But it's basically going after the net. It's going after that whole network of people, shell companies passing money around. This is going to be a huge investigation. Holy smokes. Okay. Again, foundation of a hangman. We need to look at this. This is right. I'm glad I read that part, because what this is telling me, this is a much bigger problem than what's on the surface. There is a whole freaking iceberg underneath this. Not that that's a surprise, but it just sort of drives the point home. And it's decision time for AG Garland. What are you going to do? We have a major problem here. What are you going to do? Jack Smith might be available. You might need a special counsel. Jack Smith might be available. I'm just saying, He was working on the Mar-a-Lago documents case, but, he's free from that now, and after the hearings for January 6th, I might get tied up in the courts file. He'll have some free time. He might have some free time. Oh, jeez. I did not put these cards here like this. In the past, we have the Justice card. The Supreme Court is looking extremely corrupt these days. And I'm really sorry to say that. As an American, that is embarrassing. It's humiliating. It's humbling. And it's unpatriotic for our court to act in the way that it's been acting. But it's where we are now. So, and it's the arrogance of the behavior of that same court, especially, Citizens United might have been the first warning call for some of us. I wasn't paying attention at that time. I only came in, like many of us, in 2017, but didn't think the Supreme Court was as corrupted as it was. It's only, really recently that we've got to see it in its full bloom. And it's time to investigate the Supreme Court and who owns the justices. Good Lord, look at all these major arcana. And Sheldon Whitehouse's letter is like, here we go. It's judgment time. We need to judge the judges. Wake up. We can see what's going on here. The corruption is out there for everyone to see. AG Garland is not so blind. Now, that doesn't mean there's not political consequences for this, but he cannot be so blind as he doesn't see what's happening. Especially as somebody who was supposed to be on that Supreme Court instead of Gorsuch. That should have been Garland on there. So I'm not saying that Garland has an axe to grind, because I don't know if that if he is the type of person who grinds axes, but between these two, he should probably, let's just say if he approves it, he might have a smile on his face as he does it. Let's say that. I don't know if Garland's that way. If I were Garland, I think I'd be that way. oh yeah, I think this is probably a case here, and then they would just be like this. No, let me sign this. Oh yes, no, the unintended consequences of your actions. The overarching energy is the Eight of Cups. This might be something. This might be one of Garland's last acts before he leaves the AG position. I hope he doesn't have to think about it for that long, but whatever. But also, this is the abandonment of the Supreme Court from the law and turning their back on people. I mean, there's just this vibe. And Susan Lynn had this one on her podcast. It's like, don't you worry your pretty little head over everything. We've got this all taken care of. It's like, no, no, that's not the case at all. How dare you? Well, it's Susan Lynn or, oh God, I can't even quote people anymore. Here's the problem. I drove down to Los Gatos yesterday, so I got to listen to all my favorite YouTube podcasters. I got to listen to Kim from Intuit View. I got to listen to Susan Lynn. I got to listen to Cash. Then you'll sprinkle in the Brian Tyler Cohen's with Glenn Kirshner's and Midas Touch. So my brain's all scrambled. There's information out there from other intuitives. Let's put it that way. If I don't get the intuitive right, my apologies. But the Supreme Court's turned their back on the people, and they're doing what they want, and we're not to worry our pretty little heads over that. And that's kind of what Sheldon Whitehouse is saying. Is like they're acting like they're above the law, and we got to pull them in. And you better pull them in sooner rather than later before this gets so far out of control that we can't rein it back in. The lesson to be learned is the Three of Wands. This is going to happen. It's not going to happen right away, but they've sent this out and they're waiting the response. And the response might be a timing thing, but and maybe things are going to come into place, but there's going to be a response to this. There's going to be action. They're waiting. These senators want action, and I think action's going to be taken. The outcome is going to be the Devil card. I don't think the Devil card means no, it's not going to happen, or we're just going to allow the corruption. I think the outcome is going to be when it's decided to investigate this, all hell's going to break loose. It's the amount of corruption that we're seeing in our government, in our Supreme Court, in our political systems, along with the oligarchs and the ultra wealthy and such, it's all going to be exposed. And it's all just, it's money. Literally, it's money. It's money and it's power, influence, power, wealth, that type of thing. This is just going to be... This is going to be like, right now Donald Trump seems like the Mar-a-Lago documents case is a big scandal. January 6th is the biggest scandal we have going on right now. But this is going to be as big as like the January 6th case because of the undercurrent. This case here, assuming that we get a special counsel to investigate it, this is going to open up Pandora's box to the biggest corruption case in the history of the United States. Period. Again, the January 6th insurrection, that's kind of like, that's like the pimple on your face. Just like Donald Trump is the pimple on your face for the corruption. And you can say, it's him. He's the whitehead. Or you can look at the insurrection and say, they're the problem. No, they're just the surface. They're the tip of the iceberg that you see above the water so that you know there's a problem underneath it. But the problem underneath it is immense. This thing is going to be huge. Absolutely huge. Oh, this warms my heart. It's going to take way too long to investigate it all and hold people to account. But, getting a special counsel, somebody also who's not corruptible. That's why I really hope it's like a Jack Smith or a Jack Smith-like character. Somebody who's just not corruptible in that regard. Give them some protections because now you're going after the big boys. And they're not going to want to be gone after. So this is going to be a dangerous investigation. All right. What will Attorney Merrick Garland do? with regards to this case. Okay, come on down. AG Garland, what are you going to do with regards to this case? He's going to sit on it and think about it. Well, that's kind of, don't get grumpy. That's just who he is. He is going to ponder what he's going to do. He may not do anything right away. It may be a few months. This might be one of those things that he announces again after the election. I also think he's going to resign after the election, or he might announce his resignation after the election. So either he will think about it, he might take action, he might depending on when he resigns and the next AG comes in, there's going to be a timing thing there. But he's going to think about this. He's going to ponder this. Don't expect immediate reaction. I'd be surprised if we found out in days. It could be 4 weeks, it could be 4 months, but I would not be surprised if it takes a while for it to happen. If he decides quickly, I'd be stunned. Happily, unless the answer is no. Cross with the Knight of Wands. Yeah, he's going to take his time because it's like he sees the big picture. There's got to be in order to pull this off, there's going to have to be a plan in place. So this is going to be one of those things he thinks about. He thinks about the logistics. He thinks about how we're going to finance this. Who can we put in place? What protections can we put in place? How big might this investigation be? This is going to require a lot of planning and a lot of forethought, because literally you're going after a Supreme Court justice. And it's, Garland's not an idiot. Although he might roleplay one in his D&D group. He's not an idiot. He knows that if you're investigating Thomas, you're also investigating Alito and Roberts and Kavanaugh and Gorsuch and Coney Barrett and maybe the Democratic judges as well. This doesn't stop with just this one person. Yeah, it starts with this one person. It focuses on this one person, but he knows it's going to spread out to the other ones. Alito's just as guilty as Thomas. Yeah. Underneath it all, he's also going to look at the strength. Whether does he have the strength to do this? Does the special counsel, does the Attorney General office have the tenacity to do this? To go after the Supreme Court and all the people funding them? This is going to be a really interesting. He's going to ponder a lot of things here. In the past, you got the Six of Wands, the victory card. I think people in general would say that nominating Jack Smith or appointing him as a special counsel, if you remember nothing about Merrick Garland in a positive light, it's going to be Jack Smith. If you're going to say, tell me the most important positive thing Merrick Garland did for this country, it's going to be Jack Smith, special counsel to investigate the January 6th insurrection in the Mar-a-Lago documents case. Crowning moment for him. Current situation is the Seven of Swords. I don't think Merrick Garland is feeling like he's sneaking around. I think one of the things he's going to contemplate, he's going to look at the actions of Clarence Thomas. He's going to look at what's been said and done. He's going to look at the decisions of the Supreme Court. And he's going to have to look at the breadth and scope of this. He might actually, what the other thing is? I was telling you he's going to have to have meetings. If one of his other crowning achievements, the thing that we don't see, the sneaky thing behind the thing that we don't see, is the removal of Trumpers and Trump supporters from the Department of Justice. The ones that won't do their job, who are loyal to Trump above the Constitution. Linda G, amongst others, has commented that she sees that Garland was dealing with that, which is why her explanation of why he was so delayed in getting Jack Smith going. If he hasn't fully gotten rid of anyone, or so that Seven of Swords, come on down. That Seven of Swords could be him purging the last of the Trumpers, or if he hasn't purged the last of the Trumpers, having secret meetings to discuss the plan that's going to go forward, and how do they best leverage the information that they have to build a strong case. Overarching energy is the two of coins. If you appoint Jack Smith to this, right now he's got 2 cases. Does he have time for this? This is kind of the pros and cons of appointing a special counsel. Do I do this? The precedent it sets is amazing. What's the threat to the country? What's the threat with the Supreme Court on this? There's going to be a lot of contemplation. He's going to weigh everything, which is why it takes him so long to make a decision. Acting rashly is not one of Merrick Garland's sins. Now, for all the ladies out there, he's not the guy that's going to come up to you on a Friday morning just before you go to work and say, hey, after you get off work tonight, let's just drive to Vegas and we'll spend the weekend there. We'll just get a hotel and we'll have a good time. That's not Merrick Garland. Not even a little bit. He's got like no bad boy in him whatsoever. No spontaneity. He's oatmeal. Dude's oatmeal. I'm sorry. But that's okay. It's okay to have an attorney general who thinks about things. You don't need them to all be bombastic and rush towards things. The lesson to be learned is the 4 of coins. He's going to keep things close to the vest. They might already have some evidence here about shenanigans with Thomas. He's keeping that stuff close to the vest. Again, as he ponders things and sets up this case. The outcome is going to be the Page of Cups. This might just be one of those things that is out of character for him. And by out of character, I mean his normal inclination might be, for instance, we're not going to look at a Supreme Court justice. Are you kidding me? That's like political suicide. But this might be one of those things, literally, that he says, you know what? Screw that. We've got a case here, and this is kind of like, it looks like one of those moments where Merrick Garland might actually stretch himself. He might actually take that trip to Vegas after all. He finds that one right girl that hits him just in the right way. He shrugs his shoulders and says, all right, what's the worst that can happen? We'll give it a shot. He will be nervous as hell during that whole process. But, he might just decide, I'm going to live a little with this one. That makes me happy. All right. Will Jack Smith, or a Jack Smith-like entity, be assigned as a special counsel to this? Actually, let's... Will Merrick Garland, given the energies now, will Merrick Garland assign, as I'm assuming he's going to do it, let's just ask, is he going to assign a special counsel to it? Because if Garland doesn't do it, the next AG will. I have no doubt that this is going to be investigated. None whatsoever. Just who's going to pull the trigger on it. And the timing. Who's going to pull the trigger? Will he pull the trigger? King of Cups. We got Biden. No, Biden will never pressure him because that's not his job. But here he is. This is the thinking. The thinking is now, here's the King of Cups making the decision. Here's the pondering that's gone through. God, here's the information that he's kept close to the vest. And here's the announcement of the investigation because this isn't right. Will he say it? He may very well. This might be one of his last acts as the Attorney General. And I think Biden definitely wants this. Biden won't tell him that. That's not Biden's job. Biden follows the rules. But I think he also looks like, from an emotionally mature point of view, we've got to look into this. Yeah, he's going to do it. He is absolutely going to do it. Because it's the right thing to do. And he knows it's the right thing to do. All right. Now, it's a question of timing. finally will he appoint a special counsel with, oh, I don't know, similar energy to Jack Smith. Doesn't have to be Jack Smith. It could be Jack Smith's evil twin brother with the goatee. Wait, Jack Smith has the goatee. My friends in college knew that I had a twin brother. And Gary did come down, and he finally, after, a long time, he did come down to meet them. And they used to refer to him as my evil twin brother, Garth. There's a joke for all you Star Trek fans. There's an episode called Mirror, Mirror, where members of the bridge crew on the Enterprise, through a transporter issue, beam into a parallel universe where the Federation is evil and Spock is evil, but he has a goatee. So that's how you could tell the evil universe from the non-evil universe is Spock with a goatee. And it just led to a pop culture thing that, if you're going to be evil, just slap on a goatee and that makes you instantly evil. Same thing with identical twin brothers. My evil twin brother Garth, he's the one with the goatee. You can see it. All right. I digress. Energy around the special counsel. Who might Merrick Garland appoint to that? It'll be like somebody like Jack Smith, four-carder. Heartbreak and betrayal. Now you could say, oh my God, that means he's not going to appoint a special counsel. No. How about a special counsel that's been abused? Basically taken off a case. Cases he's been working on, they've been blocked and such. This is that betrayal. So like with Clarence Thomas saying Jack Smith hasn't been he's not a proper special counsel, I don't think you could appoint that. That would be the right payback. We've got the Four of Cups here, the Hermit, Knight of Swords, and the Devil. Oh, there's going to be wow. So you're going to look at heartbreak and betrayal, and it's somebody who's got a lot of passion about investigating the corruption here. They're going to look for somebody who is really, really passionate about rooting out the corruption. So there's going to be a search for this person. It's not necessarily Jack Smith per se, but it could be. There could be some that, when offers are made, like, what about this person? What about this person? What about this person? You've got to find the right person here. So they're going to be looking, and they're going to try and find the right person. They need a champion. They need somebody who's going to be fearless, not reckless, fearless, who will charge forward and doesn't care about the consequences. Where it might not be Jack Smith is because he's married with kids. And this is going to be a very dangerous job. So whoever accepts this is going to be an exceptionally brave person. Now, if you've got a family is that brave or foolhardy? But that Knight of Swords, that could be braveness, that could be foolhardiness. If Jack Smith were single, yeah, that's him. He's your guy. So it might not be Jack Smith. It might be a Jack Smith-like person who maybe doesn't have a family. I wouldn't be surprised if we find this person single, that type of thing. But yeah, they will do a search. They will find their champion, and this thing's going to go forward. All right. When that happens, I'll read on it again on how the investigation might look. But we're half an hour into this one. I think we can end it here. Thank you very much for watching this video and supporting my channel. I appreciate it. I hope you found this reading insightful, and I'll catch you on the next one. Take care.